Lenten season catechesis. And for this period, we'll be looking at some devotions and practices of Catholics, or some Catholic devotions and practices. For today's theme, it is sacramentals. What is a sacramental? They are sacred signs which bear a resemblance to the sacraments. They signify, in fact, particularly of a spiritual nature. By them, we are disposed to receive the chief effect of the sacraments, and various occasions in life are rendered holy. There is a difference between sacrament and sacramental. A sacrament is a visible sign of an invisible grace, and we have 7 sacraments. While a sacramental is instituted by Christ through his church, and is a sign of the power of the sacraments. By the church prayers, sacramentals prepare us to receive grace and dispose us to cooperate with it. What can sacramentals obtain for us? Sacramentals can obtain for us actual graces, forgiveness of venial sins, remission of temporal punishment, health of body and material blessings, and protection from evil spirits. How do they work? Just as it happened in the Incarnation, when Christ took flesh in the womb of Mary, the divine touched the material world and made it an instrument of grace. That is, Christ, who is divine, became human, that our world may become an instrument of grace. And as we know, humans are very tactile. That is, we respond more to touch, signs and images, sounds, smells, and tastes. So, sacramentals allow the material world to become alive and part of our faith. The power of sacramentals depend on the prayers of the church, the devotion of the priest who gives the blessing, and the disposition of the person who is receiving the sacrament. So therefore, sacramentals are not to be seen as good luck charms or magical items, but as simple as the sign of the cross, which is a sacramental, if done with the right disposition, that is, done in the right disposition with a high level of devotion, it can actually bring graces to our souls. We have different forms of sacramentals. The first one is blessing. Like we said at the beginning, various occasions in life are rendered holy by sacramentals. Blessing of our houses, our cars, offices are rendered holy. All blessings of persons, meals, objects, and places are considered sacramentals. The blessings of priests and bishops, such as the consecration of churches, the absolution contained in the confession at Mass, are all sacramentals. And this once again brings to the fore the argument of some persons that when they come to Mass and they participate in the penitential rite, that the priests have absolved them of their sins and they do not need the sacrament of reconciliation. What we receive at Mass at that moment is only a sacramental and not a sacrament. Exorcism is another form of sacramental. Exorcism is directed at the expulsion of demons or to the liberation from demonic possession through the spiritual authority which Jesus entrusted to his church. We have the simple exorcism, which happens during baptism. At baptism, the rite of baptism, there's rite of exorcism at baptism. While we have the major exorcism, which happens when the church has confirmed truly that somebody is possessed by the devil, and it is done by a designated priest using the rite as approved by the church. And the last of the forms of sacramentals is forms of piety and devotions. Among these, we have veneration of relics, visit to sanctuaries, like we have our shrine here, Our Lady Help of Christians shrine is just by the corner, pilgrimages, processions, the Stations of the Cross, like we do every Wednesday and Friday of Lent, the Rosary, Medals, the Scapula, and others are all forms of sacramentals. And the Church particularly encourages us in this season of Lent that we should be more devoted, or rather, we should make more use of these sacramentals. Because when we do this, they enrich our faith experience and make us to be more recollected. Eventually, this brings to life the reality of the sacrament and the sacred liturgy. Glory to Jesus.